Hey there. In this video, we are going to look at a list column expansion inside Power Query. And this is going to be a more practical, sort of real-world example of the things we were looking at just a second ago. So what we've got here, we've got these costs that are associated with periods. And there's 0 through 12 periods, right? And we have the date the period starts, and the date it ends, how many days are in the period, and what the cost is. We could say that this is a negotiated cost, right? So this is like a bill we have to pay. So for every day here in period 0, between this date and this date, we have to pay this much per day, right? So on the 16th, we have to pay $128. On the 17th, we have to pay $128, all the way up to the 7/16, in which case then we start paying $134 all the way through 8/15. Okay? So you can imagine this is just like a utility bill or something like that. And it's a negotiated rate, so we pay the same amount each day. And that's fine, but what we want to be able to do is, like right now, these periods are they're not normal periods. These are sort of custom periods. They start on the 16th and always end on the 15th. Well, we want these costs to be sort of driven over, or to be stretched over calendar months, because that's sort of how we think here in our organization. So we want to take these costs, and rather than having them over these periods, we want them over periods like January and February and March and things like that. So we're going to do a list expansion to make that happen. So right now we're in the expand.xlsx workbook. We're in the list advanced worksheet. So we're going to click on this data because this is what we're working on. It should be the query month normalized should be highlighted for you. If it's not, head up to the Power Query tab, click on Show Pane to show all the queries. Go to Query Month Normalize. I'm going to right click on it and hit Edit. Okay, so to do this, what we're going to have to do is for each one of these rows, we're going to generate a list of all the dates that exist within this period. And then when we do that, we'll be able to expand it out and then use that expanded table to get for each row the calendar date and then group by those calendar dates to get the calendar monthly cost. Okay, if that seemed like a kind of a mouthful, well, when we're doing it, it'll make a whole lot more sense. So to begin with, what we need is a list of all the dates in this period. So we're going to go to Add Column. We're going to use a special list function for this. We're going to add a custom column. Okay, and for this, we're going to use the list.dates function. So I'm just going to call this list of dates in period for now, because that's what it is. So the function is list.dates, and what list.dates does is it generates, well, a list of dates. Okay, so it's going to take 3 arguments. The first argument being is, what is the date you want to start on? Well, we want to start on the period start date, right? We want to start on the 16th for the first item here, and then the 16th for this row. Okay. The next thing it wants to know is how many items should be in this list. So basically, how many dates should appear in this list. Okay, well, we know how many days are in each period, and that's how many days should be in the list. Because if there are 30 days in this period, and we start on the 16th, and we have 30 days, we should get all the days starting on the 16th all the way through the 15th. So let's get days in period. That's the second argument. The third argument it wants to know is what's the amount of time between the first date on the list, the second date on the list, and the third date on the list. Right, so if we could set this to 7 days so that each date appears a week after the date before it, but we don't want to do that. We want each day to be the next day. So for that, we're going to do a duration of 1, which is to say a duration of 1 day. So we're going to do pound duration, add a duration data type. Okay, well, how long is this duration? Well, it's going to be 1 day, 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 0 seconds. That's how durations work. So we're going to close the duration. We're going to close the list.dates function, and we're going to hit OK. And so now, for each row, see we've got these 6/16, the 7/15. We've got a list of all the dates in the period. Okay? And memory may not load all of these yet. It only loads up to 5. So what I'm going to do here real quick is I'm going to go ahead and, rather than click on the white space to get the preview, I'm going to click on the list to actually navigate to it as if it's a step in the query. I'm going to click on it. I'm just going to navigate to it. We can see we go from the 16th all the way to the 15th, right? So the 16th all the way through to the 15th. So if we come down here, let's click on this one. We're going to undo that step one more time just so you get the idea. We're going from 9/16 to 10/15. Let's navigate 9/16 to 10/15. Okay, I'm going to remove that step. So for each sort of custom period that we've got, that this organization wants to bill us on, we've got all the days associated with that period, right? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to expand this list. So now every day in this list is going to get its own row. So essentially for every day in period 0, we're going to get a row, right? So there's 30 days here, so why don't we expand this? And boom. So now we've gone from this, where period 0 was only 1 row, to this, where period 0 is now 30 rows, because that's how many days are on the list. So we're going to go from 616, let's see how much memory, all the way down to the 15th, right? So we've got all those rows for period 0, and then we see that period 1 starts with 716, and it goes all the way down to, 716 to 815. And then period 2 starts, and that's that sort of thing. Okay, well, since we've got all the dates associated with each period now as its own row, what we're going to do is we're going to click on this guy. We're going to head over to Add Columns. We're going to go to Date, and we're going to get Month. And I'm just going to click on the, let's keep this simple. I'm just going to click on the, actually, let's not do that one. Let's click on the start of month. That's a better way to do it. So now we've got the starting day, the starting calendar day associated with each one of these transactions. So let's see, let's go head down to a border number here, like 6/30/2015 and 7/1/2015. So everything above this is associated with the month of June, and everything below it is associated with the month of July, right? So now each one of these costs we can group by the start of the month to get the how much cost we get per calendar month. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to head over to Home. I'm going to click on Group By. We do want to group by start of month, right? And what we want is the total cost. Total cost. And so the total cost is going to be a sum of the period daily cost. Okay, I'm going to click OK. And so now we actually have the cost per calendar month associated with all these custom period months, right? So here's how much we're actually going to spend for the month of July for those costs. And here's how much we're actually going to spend for the month, or I should say June for that one. And here's how much we're going to spend in July. Here's how much we're going to spend in August, September, and so on and so forth. You'll notice that each one of these is about half the amount of each one of these. So these are all about 2,000, like on the corners here, and these are all 4,000. That's because we only have a half a month for each one of these. Okay, but now this is pretty cool. We might even just sort of ignore these, because what we really care about is the entire fiscal month here, starting on the July and going through next June. And now we've got all of our costs for the next fiscal year. Okay, well, that's how you can create and expand a list in the real world to solve kind of a more complex problem. I do hope that was helpful, and we will see you next video.